It's time for another episode of the Josh Cast. Da 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 da. I don't know why, but that's what I want my theme song to be for this show. Da 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 da. Josh Cast. That's the one I think I'm going to settle on for today until I change it. There's a lot of dew on my car. Morning dew. Unbelievable. Is this guy going? What's he doing? No, he's not, because somebody else is crossing. Okay, fantastic. There's an Audi. My favorite kind of car. Reminds me of the car my grandparents drove. Back in the day, this would be the late 80s, when times were wonderful, which I find fascinating. It's always youth. The youth. What do I mean by youth? Why do I keep saying youth? I think our memories, our past memories when we were growing up, when we were young children, there's something idyllic about them that we keep coming back to. And it doesn't matter when you were born or where, if the childhood was relatively good, which mine was relatively good, then, and by relatively good, I mean not bad. So that's what mine was. And the childhood that I encountered was a childhood that took place in the 80s. Ergo, while to any other generation, the 80s is seen as something of a horror fest, to me, it is mired with my own nostalgia. And that is bizarre. Truly bizarre. And now whenever I think of early childhood, when I think of 80s, I mean, basically, guys, every time I see a neon headband, I tear up a little bit. My goodness, these roads need assistance. These roads, there's a lot of potholes on these roads. These roads, how many that's not the right song. It should be, how many roads must a man walk down? Instead it was, how many men must a man walk down before you can call him a man? Which implies a totally different thing, I should think. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. I don't think that's the rest of the song. I think I made that part up myself. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. That's a fun game. Just do half of the song the way it is, and then the other half just make it up. I enjoy that. How can we play that? What are the songs? These boots were made for walking, and they were made in Taiwan under unsafe conditions. We need more regulation of the people who don't live in America. Hey! That got dark. Okay, so the guy walking across the street is wearing it basically looks like a shopping bag on his back. It's like a backpack, but it's really just a thin bag with maybe one book in it. And there's a point at which, and you know what? I'm just gonna say this. I don't know the man. I'm sure he is an honorable man. I'm sure he's a good man. I'm sure there's a lot of fine qualities about him. But that bag looks ridiculous to me. There's a point at which, if you're only carrying one thing, if it's one notebook, just carry the notebook. You don't need to put it in a bag. All right, you don't need to turn this into a major drama here with bags and straps and all that kind of thing. Of course, as I'm complaining about this, I'm totally a hypocrite, because right now I have a backpack that looks like something you use to, trek up a mountain, and inside it is my iPad and my little notebook and some pens as well, and a charger. Okay, you know what? There you go. I've got more in my bag than him. I am not being a hypocrite. He doesn't have enough in his bag to warrant having a bag. Period. Ford Mustang, red, right in front of my face. About to make a right turn. Hot blonde girl driving it. Suddenly very attracted. Hot blonde driving a red Ford Mustang. This woman is ready to party. This is probably not a woman who knows a lot about Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Where are we going to find common ground? I'm probably never going to see her again. And yet, Here I am, already talking myself out of the relationship that doesn't even exist. Perfect. On point. Camarillo Street. Isn't that in a song? Amarillo. Route 66. The problem is, I learned it in choir, but it was the tenor part, so I don't know the actual... I know the tenor line. Get your kicks on Route 66. Then that's not the song. Something about Route 66 and getting your kicks on Route 66. There's a sexiness about highways when they first... this feels like a 1950s vibe. That highways, the idea of the highway, the idea of going on the road and finding yourself, the journey, going on the road, man. There's a sexiness about it. And I don't know if that exists anymore. It's hard to have that sexiness when every 15 seconds on Route 66 there's a Starbucks. We've lost something. America is lost. Woman is walking her dog. It is a giant black dog. A black lab? I think it's a black lab. Here's what's odd about the Labrador. People call it the lab. It's my lab. And it always sounds, at first I'm like, science lab? And of course I know they're referring to their Labrador because they're pointing to the dog. Or they say a chocolate lab. I know that they're not referring to a lab in which scientists are studying chocolate, which would be amazing. Sounds like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Or is it Charlie? I thought wasn't the book called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Or was the book called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? I could have sworn it was called Charlie and the Chocolate. I read the book. I think it was one of the books we read in school. It was required reading. Roald Dahl. I'm not saying his name right. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Good book. The first draft, not so good. That was Charlie and the Vanilla Factory. Not nearly as interesting. What happens in this room? It's just the break room. Do you have Oompa Loompas? No, we have a team of... We call them a team, by the way. I mean, they're really just, workers, but we call them a team to try to and there's OSHA regulations we have to follow. This is the Vanilla Factory. I'm not Willy Wonka. My name is Tim Anderson, and I'm the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, not the CEO. He's not here. He's taking a vacation. He has a vacation spot in Cleveland, and he's there right now. I'm overseeing things while he's gone, it's a pretty relaxing day. Not too much is going on. We're processing vanilla. That's what we do here at the Vanilla Factory. Processing vanilla. Would you like to try some of our product? Actually, you're not allowed to try the product on the line. It violates OSHA regulations, as well as the FDA regulations. But we do have a gift shop that you can try some of our product at. Oh, you know what? The gift shop's temporarily closed for renovations. But if you go to any grocery store, we are on the. I think we're on the spice aisle. We're not, and we're not like the number one brand. So we're towards the bottom of the shelf, but we're there, and we're just as good as the number one brand, whose name escapes me at the moment. Yeah, totally different book. Not nearly as good of a read right there. Chevy van with peeling paint on it. What is that guy's story? It looks. The vibe is handyman. That's what I would think. A plumber or some kind of maintenance person. A man who works with his hands. If he accidentally shoots a nail in his foot, he doesn't cry. He calmly drives to the hospital. Doesn't even drive to the hospital. He just takes a hammer, pulls it out himself. 2 days later, he's fine. When he makes love, the woman orgasms. And he's quiet and stoic about it. He's born a man, raised a man, lives a man, dies a man. How does he die? By punching a clown. I think the clown in that particular context was the adversary breaking in, doing something bad. That's what we should say. Because he's a good man, this person. Not unlike the good man who was wearing the back bag that's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Dry cleaners. A dry cleaners. Nothing says adventure like a dry cleaners. Nothing says sexy like a dry cleaners. There's so many dry cleaners out there in America. Surely somebody has been seduced while inside of a dry cleaners. Somewhere there's a child asking their parent, "So how did you meet Mom?" "Well, we were at the dry cleaners and one thing led to another. And let's just say somebody out there has a suit that needs another round of dry cleaning." Hey! Ho-ho! So wait a minute, Dad. Do you mean that you and Mom made love inside a vat of dry cleaning solution? Yes! Yes, we did. In fact, that's where you were conceived. And we do it again in a New York minute, which I believe is a faster minute than a minute from another state. Hence the term New York minute, I think. Would we not agree on that? Probably a bit faster than an Indiana minute. There's an entire lane of traffic that's being held up because somebody is parallel parking. This poor, deluded fool. Parallel parking. Red truck. What's going on in the red truck? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like whoever's driving that red truck. There's something I don't like about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think this person's done some things. Murder? No. But maybe attempted manslaughter. I don't know. That's the vibe. I don't mean to be dark. I'm just going with my instincts here. I'm going with my impulses. I don't want to bring this down, but that's how I feel. I think I just drove by somebody who did attempted manslaughter on a clown who didn't deserve it. Now there's a white Mustang in front of me. Not like that red Mustang. I don't know who this is. They're too far ahead of me to see if it's an attractive woman or not. We'll have to let this one go. And then following behind the Mustang is this one of those like 1960s really small sport cars, like an Italian thing or something. I think that's what it is. I don't know what to make of these cars. They're tiny. Oh, I shouldn't be going through this yellow, but I am. Wow. Oh, that's a Chevy. That's not a Mustang. That's a Chevy. What is it? What's the name of it? What's the name of it, Josh? Is that the Camaro? I think that is the Camaro. That was a Chevy Camaro. That can't be the Camaro. I think that's the Camaro. Bob, what do you think? I think it's a Camaro. That's what I think it is. Thanks, Bob. It's Bob. He's my podcast consultant. Whenever I have a question, I ask him something. Don't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you to do anything, Bob. I'm just saying that you're here. The fog was where I wanted it to be. Bob, by the way, is a Eugene O'Neill character. Eugene O'Neill, there's a man. The man, the myth, the legend. I think Eugene O'Neill handed in one of his plays to somebody and they said, "You know what? This is just too funny and fast-paced. You need to cut all the jokes and we need way more pathos in this. Way more pathos." I'm sorry, is this moment right here a moment of levity? Yeah. That is off-brand, Mr. O'Neill. I'm sorry, are you Neil Simon? strong feelings for Eugene O'Neill. I did a report on one of his plays in high school. I think it was The Iceman Cometh. That was really not the play that I needed to read at that point. My goodness. Now I am living The Iceman Cometh. A boy with a pipe dream. Good. Well, this got depressing all of a sudden. I have an itch because I think it's eczema. I hope it's eczema. I think I have a little bit. Why can't I say it? I have a little bit of it on my penis, which is concerning to me, very concerning to me. So I'm probably gonna have to go to the doctor now, and they're probably gonna say, well, it's probably not an STD, but we can't say for certain. I can say for certain because I have not been having sex, and if it is an STD and I haven't noticed myself having sex, my God, I am really in my head. Hyundai. There's a Hyundai. I hear good things about Hyundais. I've not heard a bad thing about a Hyundai in a long, long time. Perhaps ever. Another Hyundai. Two of the same kind of Hyundais right around me. At first, I remember my mom pronounced it Hyundai, which is an interesting way of pronouncing it, but I do not believe that is correct. It is Hyundai. Hyundai! Not Hyundai. But how were we to know? I'm at a loss. Nope, can't be at a loss. Got to keep talking. Got to keep going. Got to keep going. That's a Toyota. That's a Beamer. Now I'm scrambling. Stop scrambling. What is the first thing that comes into my head? Yellow Kia. What's going on with that yellow Kia? They are a graphic designer. That's who that person is. It's a graphic designer in an on-again, off-again relationship with another graphic designer, and they either know someone or are related to someone, which would mean knowing someone, named Linda. Linda is a part of that person's life in a particular way. That person driving the yellow Kia. Best friends with the party clown who was punched for no good reason by somebody. See that? I brought back the clown. There we go. Tying it all together. That is what I am talking about. Ah, good. Yes. Excellent. Here's what I'm learning about adult life at the ripe old age of 37. It's all about pretending like I know what I'm talking about. And that's all that everyone else is doing. There's no such thing as a qualified person. No one is qualified. Everyone is an idiot. All there is are people who sound like they're qualified. Well, that's quite a negative view of the world. Don't you think that's a negative view of the world? I certainly do. But I know from experience. I know from experience. So there you have it. And there you go.